If your goal is to build muscle, then making this one change to how you train can make a profound difference to how effective your training is. Now, most people, when they lift weights, they're simply moving the weight from A to B. They're not really thinking about the intention of the movement. They're typically more focused on just hitting the desired number of reps. What they need to do is concentrate on stimulating and stressing the target muscle as much as possible. Now, if your goal is powerlifting, where you're trying to lift the heaviest weight possible, you try to find the easiest, most efficient way of lifting the weight that recruits as many different muscles as possible to help you actually lift the weight. But when your aim is to build muscle, the opposite is true. We want to try and find the most challenging way of lifting the weight that really isolates the target muscle and creates the maximum amount of stress. So how do you do this? Well, here are 5 tips to help you maximize the stimulus from your training.
The first tip is to make sure you're using a full range of motion, emphasizing the stretched part of the movement. Training in this area where the muscle is weakest provides the biggest stimulus to the muscle and is the area that most people stop short of when they train. The second tip is to focus on the eccentric or lowering part of the movement. A slower eccentric can create more time under tension and more muscle damage, leading to more growth. But at the very least, making sure you control the weight while lowering it will make a big difference. Tip 3 is to avoid using momentum or bouncing the weight. You can do this by pausing in the stretch position for a second before starting the concentric or lifting phase of the movement. This puts a lot more tension on the target muscles. The fourth tip is to really contract the target muscle at the top of the movement. This is an opportunity to really feel the target muscle and develop your mind-muscle connection. More tension creates a bigger stimulus for growth. Tip 5 is to really isolate your target muscle as much as possible. Really feel the intention of the target muscle while keeping supporting muscles out of the movement as much as you can.
Just be aware that as you increase the difficulty of the movement, it will reduce the amount of weight that you can normally lift. So try and take your ego out of the equation, and remember, the goal is to get bigger, not to lift heavier weights.